welcome back to the Silly Little Girls Club podcast. My guest today is Mimi, the founder of Mimi et Mina, which is an incredible textured hair brand which started as a hair salon and it has evolved into this whole new brand. And Mimi, the founder, is so inspirational. She has completely shifted what she's doing in her life and found love and is empowering women to do the same thing. And it is such an incredible conversation and I cannot wait for you guys to listen. Hi, Mimi. Oh my God, I feel like you're going to be a pro at this. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, when I was thinking about who I wanted on my podcast, and I was like, Mimi just popped into my mind. I was like, because we're kind of connected, but never really got time together.
Yes,
and I always say, like, I feel like we're Instagram friends, but then and now we need to be IRL friends. So.
Yeah, I'm sure we're starting a great journey
Me
together.
too. I'm very excited to have you on here, and also to really hear your journey, because I'm like obviously follow you on Instagram and like I see what you're up to, but I just want to get into like, you know, let's start with where you started. You had a salon and and now you're living your best life and like there's just so much to go from there. But I feel like if we start with the salon perhaps, then that's a nice start, isn't it?
Thank you so much for having me and inviting me today. So my name is Mimi Kone and I'm the founder of Mimi et Mina, which was a salon in Notting Hill. Now we've pivoted into hair care. So how it all started, oh my God, we're going to throw back to Geneva.
Okay.
Because before moving to London, I lived in Geneva. And when I was in Geneva, I did not find a salon for a woman looking like me where I could walk in and have a great experience. And at the time I was working for Louis Vuitton. So I decided that I was on a mission to open a high-end salon for women of color with textured hair. And I started doing a market research. I did a market research in Geneva, one in Paris and one in London. And the population in London is so diversified. You know, you have people from all backgrounds.
Everywhere.
So London came to be the best market for me to launch my business. But at the time, Sam, I did not speak English.
No,
spoke French.
Oh my gosh, you would never guess.
And that is back in 2014.
That's not that long ago.
No, that is like 11 years ago. So I started working on my business plan and at the same time, I started looking for a job in London because I knew that I had to improve my English and just really like, are you going to really do that?
That's like a big, even bigger undertaking in that sense.
I was 28 then. And sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I was so naive. So I decided to drop everything then, leave my job in Geneva. I was working for Louis Vuitton and move to London.
Wow.
And I moved to London with just a luggage. I was living in West Kensington. The street again is called, I think, Charleville Road. I was renting a room with a bathroom inside, with an ensuite, and I had to share the living room with like, I think, 6 other people.
Oh, wow.
And I remember again, I was paying £800 rent.
Oh my gosh. And then probably not being able to speak to these people because
like I would walk out in the morning, I would walk in the street and I would come back at night and I had headaches. Like I was like, oh my God, it was just too much.
Yeah.
But the one thing that was really like empowering for me is I had an interview before coming to London, and this girl called Ebony, blonde with blue eyes, she took me to be the assistant manager for a brand called Bare Minerals and Selfridges. With a very poor English, like poor English. I barely could really speak, but I think I was just trying to be understood, you know, when I spoke, and she really liked me and she took me on. And then I was starting to work in Selfridges. And I did that for a year while I was working on my project. And I find the salon beginning of, I think, maybe July 2015. And as I walked, I was looking online. You know, when you're looking for a property, I was just looking online. It's so hard. And I found this shop and I said to my friend, let's go. And we get there and it's just very small, very cute. And I said to her, it's not going to work because I want to do hair, I want to do beauty, I want to do everything.
Yeah.
And I will remember one thing she said to me, start here. You can always grow.
Yeah. Good advice.
I called the agent and I'm like, hi, I want to really rent this property. And he's like, sorry, we've made a decision. And I'm like, sorry? We've made a decision. And I'm like, can I speak to the landlord?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. So he gives me the landlord number. I call him and I'm like, I need this property.
Yeah.
And he's like, who are you? Where are you from? Can you show me your bank account? Can you? And I'm like, I need this property.
Yeah.
I send him my business plan. And I'm just like, my English, remember, is not great.
It's getting there, hopefully, at this point.
So I'm just pushing hard. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want this property. I want this property. I don't know how I did it, but he gave me the shop.
Oh, wow.
And I signed a 10-year lease.
Yeah. That's scary.
Commitment.
Yeah, that is, and it's terrifying.
So terrifying.
Did you get a 5-year break or no?
I got
Was
a
it like-
5-year break, but 10 years lease. I signed the lease and I started doing the renovation and I opened in November 2015. And first day, no client. Day 2, no client. Week 2, no client. I'm like,
What do you do? Yeah, what
I
do you
just
do
thought
at that
by
point?
just getting the word of mouth and by just doing like 1 or 2 Facebook ads,
Yeah.
people will start running. But it was so hard because we couldn't get anyone through the doors and people would be walking by and say, oh, what is it? Okay, thank you. What is it? Okay, thank you. Then I had the brilliant idea to start doing Facebook ads. And Facebook ad back then was hot goods.
Yeah.
With £50, you could reach so many people.
Yeah, now you need like 500 at least, don't you?
So I started doing Facebook ads and I started seeing people coming in. And that's how I really started my salon.
Wow.
And Sam, I wasn't a hairstylist.
No, that's what's always inspired me with this, because like you were that consumer that had that problem, you know, there was
Yes.
nothing to cater to you.
Yes.
And now, you know, those needs-based businesses,
Yes.
they are, you know, the best things come from needs-based businesses, right?
Yes.
But then, yeah, how do you find the team and bring them on board?
I opened the store. I find a really great girl, which I have her do my hair. I like. I've seen her on Instagram. She's great. And I start working with her and I start realizing that I have to learn how to do hair.
Oh, wow.
And if I don't learn how to do hair, what has happened is a couple of times she's called me and she said, I'm sick. I can't come to work.
So what do you do?
Okay. I had to pick the phone and call all the clients to say, sorry, we can't see you today because she's not well. She can't come to work.
Yeah.
From that day, Sam, I knew that in order for me to just really excel in what I'm doing and take the brand and take my business where I wanted to take it, I had to learn how to do hair and know exactly what to do so that if someone is sick, I can come and walk in. And it's been the best thing I have done so far.
Oh my gosh.
Because you know exactly what you want. You know what your brand look like. You know how you want your staff to provide the service to your clients.
No, it's true.
So I got my stylist to start teaching me and I went to school. I went to hairdressing school.
Oh,
And
Mimi, that's amazing.
Samantha, I was there with 15 years old girls that the only thing they wanted was to get married and start a family.
Oh my God.
And I was sitting there with them and I was 31, 32 and I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm really making the right decision.
You definitely were. Like,
But it was just, at some time, it was just a little bit, oh my God, am I really doing that? So why I wanted to go back there and tell you is like the journey, like it's such a journey. But when you put your mind to something and you just really want to make something happen, it does happen.
it's powerful.
Because now I'm 10 years into hairdressing, you know, I have my own clientele. I understand hair really well. Someone that knows how to do hair, I know when you see someone work, you know how talented they are.
No, I agree.
So I'm just really happy and proud that I have this skill today because no matter where we go, there is still work, you know, to be able to do something with your hand. It's something that you carry on forever with you.
And it's so true. And I think probably a little bit controversial to say, but as a hairdresser and salon owner, I honestly believe that you can't run a salon to the best of your ability if you're not shoulder to shoulder with that team and you get that full understanding of what they're going through, what they need. Like if you're on the front line with them and they see that, then that inspires them and you build a better business from it. So before I opened my salon, the ones that I'd worked for, the majority of them were run by people that weren't hairdressers. So everything came down to KPIs, to numbers, and then that client experience was lacking. I was unmotivated, and I really feel that shift, and I think you taking it and learning to do hair, it's just, incredible.
And also it allows you to keep the standards, because when you have, new people coming to your business to work for you, it's very important for them to understand how you want to welcome your clientele, how you want the service to be carried on. So I think every brand has the way they want to do, and every salon owner has a way of how the client want to be taken care of. And customer experience, there is nothing better than customer experience.
Especially if you are your target market as well. So like, catering to textured hair and women that have had this awful experiences really, because, it's a very prevalent conversation to have even today. Like, I feel like
there's still a lack of
huge lack.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming more to the forefront now. I feel like you're obviously a trailblazer in 2015 to really bring that need. And I mean, what does that feel like to see that sort of part of it coming? Do you find it now it's more accessible? And
it's more accessible now, but I think what has also, I think you are into your business, you're working into your business, and only when I announced to my client that I was closing, I saw how much it meant to them. I knew that it was a brand that meant to me. I knew that it was a salon that people appreciated. I knew all of that. But only when I said I'm closing, that everybody was like, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? How am I going to do my hair, Mimi? So I think there is a lot of salon out there that cater to black hair. But what is missing in that category is the customer experience. Because as of today, there is still a hair salon where women with textured hair will go and they will have to sit and wait 30 minutes, 1 hour, because there is a lack of structure on how to provide the service. So I think that is still something that a lot of youngsters, 2 days ago I was at this event and I can see a lot of youngsters coming up and they now have their own studio and they're providing a better service. So I think over time it's happening. It's happening. It's really happening.
And I think it's nice because having your hair done is one of the most
special.
Even
me today. Even us, people think that hairdresser, we don't like it, but even for us to go and sit and have someone shampoo,
it's so nice.
And having so good. You can wake up feeling upset, and then you have your hair done. You're like,
it's so true. Like you feel rubbish, and then then if you manage to get a blow dry, I can't even get an appointment at my own salon. It's so annoying. Like I haven't had a haircut in months, and I haven't coloured it in 2 years. But literally because there's no time. But when you do get that experience, you just feel so confident. Like it's so nice.
It's a confidence
you want everyone to have that experience, and I think I just don't get it when it doesn't connect with the people doing hair. Why you wouldn't want that experience?
Because I think in the texture hair space, it's a little bit different. Because I think in the European hair space, in the Caucasian hair space, there is schools where there is training for that.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the texture hair space and the black hair space, those women are self-taught most of the time. And they haven't learned what customer service are, so they just know the skills they have. And it's a way for them to make a living. But the structure of it, they don't understand it as yet. We call them the aunties because they are the aunties that came here, and that was a way for them to make a living, to support their families. And I think today the youngsters that are doing that is more based on passion rather than it's something that I'm good at, So I think it's changing, but there is still a lot of work for us to do. And I also think it's very important, like I also have like European clients that came to the salon. They had curly hair. They would say to me, she would walk into a salon and the girl would be like, Mimi. People are scared when they see like big afro hair or big curly hair coming. They're like, how am I going to deal with that? Am I going to be able to tame it? Am I going to be able to look after it, do a treatment? So I think it's a matter of, with the young generation coming up, and also now the hairdressing, they put it as an education to be had.
Finally.
Everyone needs to learn it. So I think it's going to evolve, and I think in the future we're going to have more salon like Mimi and Mina.
Yeah.
I think it's coming.
Yeah, I hope
coming.
so.
Yeah.
And I feel like, do you think that you not coming from a hairdressing background gave you the foresight to do experience first? Because, you talk about like, people doing hair self-taught and they're not learning, that element.
That's such a great question, because I think for me, not coming from the hairdressing environment, what comes straight to my mind is I didn't know how a salon should be around. I didn't know what were the basic of running a salon. I ran my salon on the base of the education I had at university, because I have a master in business administration. So I run my salon with a master in business administration. But when I think about it today, I'm just like, okay, there are maybe skills that I should have had that might have helped me maybe make my team better, or maybe, improve certain things. Because if there is one thing that I come out with after closing the salon, is the team you have that works for you is so important. Like who is behind you when you're not around is so important.
It's so important.
So I think what I would say is knowing the industry and knowing how salon were run before opening one. I think it's important for hairdressers.
I do, but I also think that I think the level of naivety going into something is what can create like a fresh new brand.
Yes, that's true.
And because otherwise you can get, stuck thinking what you should do rather than what you feel you want to do. And I think that's creating what you did with Mimi at Mina.
Yeah.
Like that came from you.
Yes, that was 100% me.
Yeah.
And 10 years later when I was closing it, like people, like when I closed it and I gave the keys back to my landlord, I said to him, it's 10 years later, it's way better than whatever you gave me. And he was looking and he was like, you really kept it well. So I think the coziness and making it look so beautiful and people just feel like taken care of.
Yeah.
But for example, I think if I was coming from a hairdressing hairdressing background, I think I would have put more than three chairs.
Yeah, true. You get more than 3 chairs, a bit more space. But then like you said, your friend was very right, and you can grow and things happen.
True.
But then I guess fast forward to now, and like we've alluded to, close the salon, we've pivoted into hair care.
Yes.
What was that like?
I decided to pivot because I felt stuck. I felt like I was there for 10 years. I was doing the same thing days in and days out. I wanted to step into the multi-million-dollar Mimi. How can I scale this business? But I couldn't step into how can I scale this business because I never found the right person to run the salon without me being there.
Right.
When your name is there, people want to come and they want to see you. They're like, where's Sam?
Yeah.
I'm at Samantha Kusik. Where's Sam?
Yeah, that's literally, honestly, I can relate so much. It's like a really funny story.
Yes.
But when I first started the salon, that was it. I was on the chair. I was chained to the chair like literally 6-7 days a week doing hair.
Yeah.
And that's not sustainable. No. And then I had a freak accident on a trampoline at a friend's house and I broke my leg. Like, I broke it so badly that I couldn't walk for a year, which meant it was a year after I'd opened the first salon. And so I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? My business is me. Like, I am the business.
Yeah.
But what it forced me to do was to invest the time in the team.
Yeah.
And I then became almost a background piece to the business. And it's one of those really twisted moments of like, a freak thing that happened that actually really helped me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a reason to leave the business, you never would. No. And I don't think I would have scaled the business now to like 3-4 sites if I was still on the chair. So I get what you're saying about scale.
So I was on the chair for like 7-8 years and I think it has not, I was just doing operations, and I think as a business owner, to scale your business, you need to remove yourself from operation.
Absolutely.
And the role of a founder of a brand is to focus on the vision. And I realized that I wasn't able to do the vision because I didn't have the team. I was self-funded for 10 years and I had limited resources. And I was like, instead of keep reinvesting in it, because running a salon is high in cost as well, and not having the team, and what is my next chapter?
Yeah.
What is my next chapter? How can I take whatever I've done today to scale and move into my next chapter? And I sat one night and I was thinking about it, and something came into my mind. I started looking at my KPI, and the one thing that came back is moisture treatment were the most sold product services in my salon. And as soon as I saw that on my KPI, it came back to my head. All the times I've had women come to my salon, my hair's dry, my hair's dry, my hair's dry, my hair's dry. Because texture hair is so many different textures. There are textures that are going to love this product, texture that don't like too many product, but they want it to be moisturizing. So I sat and I was like, there is actually no brand for textured hair that is just really promoting nurturing with natural ingredient and adding styles to it. Most hair care that are textured hair focus, they're all talking about natural ingredient, natural. But we both know that in order to make a product work, you just need some science in it.
So I find it really peculiar when people are so adverse to like scientific products. Like
I'm like,
there's natural medicine, and then there's the medicine that I'm going to go and ask for at the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Like when you think about it in those sort of terms, it's like I'm quite happy to have something that's made specifically for my hair, right?
Exactly. So when I thought about it, I was like, Sam, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on the journey of creating a science-based hair care for textured hair, and I am going to smash it because I've had 10 years of listening to whatever they had to say. What are their concerns? What's not working for them? What product they're missing? Even a feel-good product, an oil that just you put in your hair and it just makes you feel great. And that's why I started with that oil. Because a lot of women, they don't moisture their hair because they like it's too heavy. It's
an oil. It's perfect.
And I'm so sorry, but have you heard this new trend where oils are not great for the hair?
Oh, there's always something.
The serums now are the trending thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but dry hair needs oil.
Yeah. No,
dry
100%.
hair needs oil. So that's how I moved in my mind, from moving from a physical space to moving into retail and
products.
And I was like, how am I going to make that transition and make that work? And I was like, okay, I need to do both. And then I had a client of mine, a really amazing lady called Caroline Flanagan, which became my coach, because I was like, I need a coach to direct me to where I need to go. And she's been such a help, because we've had so many coaching sessions where she doesn't tell you what you need to do. She just listens to you and asks you questions.
And then helps you find your way.
And help you find your way and find your responses. And through doing this coaching session with her, I realized, actually, the salon needs to go.
Yeah, gosh.
In order for me to get into doing the hair care, because I was telling her, I want to be a bit more flexible.
Yeah.
I want to be a bit more free. Because for 10 years, I was day in and day out in the salon, like 5 days, 6 days. At some point, I had to cut myself to working only 3 days, because you're going to burn out. Yes, I was just burning out. So on the day I decided, and it was we were on a question session, and she said, so I don't remember how she asked the question, but she said, okay, so where's the problem? And I said, maybe I should close the salon.
And it just pinged like that.
I said, maybe I should close the salon. She said, do you think so? And what would that change? And I said, oh, my clients.
Yeah, that's
How
the hard bit, isn't
clients?
it?
And she's like, okay, your clients, okay. She just listened through.
And lets you work it out.
Sam, it's taken me, after that session, it's taken me another 3 sessions to be like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Then it's taken me
That's quite quick.
2 months to moan it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go to bed and you're just like, oh my God, am I really making the right decision?
Yeah.
Because this is a revenue making business.
Yeah.
Am I really making the right decision? Am I really making the right decision?
Yeah.
For 2 months, I had to moan it. Then I had to plan. I had to plan.
I'm like
how am I
on the
closing
edge
this?
of my seat for this story. It's so
I'm like,
good.
how am I closing it? And I decided just to close it within the next 6 months. Then it allowed me to plan. Then I decided to start doing the oil because I just didn't want to close any stuff.
And yeah, exactly.
I wanted to,
keep
we're
momentum.
closing and we're going into this.
Yeah.
At least if I have a product, it gives me time to develop the other products.
Yeah.
So I had to plan all of that. I had to sit my staff and say, sorry, but I've made a decision to close. Unfortunately, none of them had the mean to take over. And I didn't want to still be
and your name's on it as well.
Partnering with someone and my name is on it. And everyone was telling me, there is a way for you to keep it. And I was like, no, for 10 years, I've put people to run it for me. I've stepped back. I've always had to back in. So it's either I'm moving away or I have to still be there. And that's how I closed the salon in June. And to be really honest, it's the best thing I've done so far.
Amazing.
I'm so happy about my decision.
It's so brave.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard because there is so much you have to give up on. You have to give up on what you've built.
Yeah.
Kind of, because you had revenue coming in. And you have to give up also on this day-to-day connection that you had with people of, oh, it's so nice to see you, and just listening to people and just having this experience with people. So I've had to give up all of that because I'm moving into something where I want to empower women at a bigger scale. And I'm like, it's been 10 years I'm doing that. I'm ready for my next chapter.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm ready to move into multi-million-dollar CEO Mimi.
Yeah, I'm ready for her. She's like, sounds fierce. I'm like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, so it's long, my story, but oh my God.
No, it's fantastic. And I feel like it doesn't stop there because, I mean, I want to get into, the trip that you booked last minute and the meeting the husband.
Oh my God.
It just goes from this chapter, let's just slam that door because we're off on a multi-million-dollar SEO journey with our oils and our products. And then along comes this whole other entity of your life.
I am not going to lie. 2024 was my year.
Yeah. I love that.
It was my year. So I make the decision in December to close the salon, but I'm still mourning. I'm still in the mind. And I'm like, I have to close it in June. So I have 2 months off. I need some time off. I'm like dreaming of having time.
Yeah.
And in December, I normally go home and I'm like, no, you need to focus on what you're doing next. I don't go home in December. I'm from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
And in February, it's my birthday. And I'm like, actually, I haven't seen my family. And it's my birthday. And I haven't spent my birthday home for a while.
Yeah, so
I'm going home.
Yeah, I love that.
So I book a ticket last minute and I go home and I stay home. I see my family. I do my birthday. And with my best friend, we decide, Mina, that lives in Burkina Faso, we decide to go on another city, which is like maybe an hour flight from Burkina, to have a weekend together. And then we shall we go on the 10th? Shall we go on the 12th? My ticket was booked on the 10th, but we wanted to maybe move it on the 11th. And then we decide to stick on the day. So we stick on the day and we go to the airport and checked in. She's checked in as well. As we pass the security, I give my passport, I turn around to go and I see this guy looking at me.
Like, hello?
I look and I keep going and no, I don't talk to him. Nothing. I go and I sit waiting to board. So I'm sitting there and then someone speaks to me by the back. I turn around, it's him. He's like, can I sit next to you and charge my phone? And I'm like, yes, of course. He sat there, charge your phone. Then he started charging to me. Like, why is he charging to me?
You're like, gosh, and
to be honest, they were not like, I saw him and I'm like, wow, he's amazing. He's so hot.
It's like he's charging his phone.
Why is this guy speaking to me? And I said to my friend, I don't want him to speak to me. And she's like, well, he's speaking to you. Then we go to board and he goes to my friend and he says, I really like your friend. And my friend's like, okay. And he comes to me and he has my number and I'm like, no. And then he gives me his business card.
Okay.
And then we get there, everyone goes its way, and I'm there for 2 days. and I don't speak to him. The next day I call him, message him, and he says, I'm going to come and take you to dinner. So he comes, we have dinner, but I stay just for an hour. And I'm like, it's nice.
Yeah.
But nothing more. And then I go home. The next day I'm flying, Sam. The next day he texts me and he's, can I take you to lunch? And I'm like, I can't do lunch. And he's like, I say, I'm not sure I can see you because I'm flying. I have errands. I'm not sure. I spend my day, pack. The driver is taking me to the airport. I'm in the car and I'm like, let me call him.
Yeah.
And then I call him and I'm like, I'm so sorry. We haven't been able to see each other next time. He lives in San Francisco. I live in London.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not happening next time. I am on my way. I'm 10 minutes away from the airport. I couldn't let you leave without saying goodbye.
What? This is like a movie.
It is a movie.
Like, it's literally giving movie, like rom-com.
I hear that and I'm like, my heart goes boom. I'm like, this man is serious.
This is amazing.
I'm like, this guy is serious about me. I'm like,
maybe
Mimi,
unhinged at this point.
I'm like, Mimi,
what's going on?
you need to
Call the police. No, I'm joking.
you need to open your eyes.
Oh my God, so you meet you at the airport?
I get to the airport. He came with someone to push my luggages.
Yeah.
Pushes my luggage, check in, and then he's like, I just wanted to say goodbye. And we take a picture and we hug. He doesn't try to kiss me or nothing.
Wow.
And I leave. And then the next morning, London to London, get my luggage, push it, put it in the Uber, sit in the Uber. The first person that texts me is him. Did you arrive safely in London?
Oh.
And that just gave me goosebumps. And the rest is history.
Oh my God.
Every single day he called me. Every single day he messaged me. Every single day he checked on me. And for a month, he kept telling me, can I come and see you in London? Can I come and see you in London? And I was like, I just wanted to be on the phone with him and see.
Yeah.
Then he comes to London, finally, to stay for a week. And in the morning, I'm on the phone with my friend and I said, I hope there is this connection.
Yeah.
Because we saw each other twice.
Yeah.
And it's coming for a week. And I'm like, oh my God, if there is nothing
so
there.
It's awkward and it's like,
It's this moment where you're just like, oh my God, what's
You've
happening?
spoken so much at this point, right? That
FaceTime.
Yeah.
But still, to see each other is different. So as soon as we see each other, I'm like, I didn't remember you were down, so. And that was his story. He stayed for a week. Then he went back. Then he came back. I was sick. He came back. He left. And then the third time he proposed, that's 4 months in.
I literally
And we got married last August in Las Vegas.
Oh my God. It's literally a movie.
We got engaged and I was like, oh my God. We got engaged and I was like, oh my God, we engaged. When are we getting married? And he's like, let's get married in August when you come to San Francisco. And I was like, okay.
Let's do it.
Are we doing it in San Francisco? He said, no, let's make it fun. Let's go to Las Vegas.
I feel like this whole journey from 10 years slog behind a salon, making that decision, and now all of these things.
Everything just flew and everything just happened.
Yeah.
So I think sometime in life, we need to just get out, change something for other things to change.
Yeah.
And I think what I had to change is make the decision that I was ready to move into another chapter, to pivot, and also make the decision that I was actually open to receive someone into my life and I entered January by saying this year I want to meet my husband and I want to get married, because for me it was so important to have a balanced life, because I just feel like sometimes when you are ambitious, you're just so much into I want to achieve this, and you overlook your personal life.
Yeah, for sure.
But actually, ultimately, your personal life is the most important thing that you can build. Yeah. So having that support that can leverage you can achieve so much more when you have someone that's there, someone that's cheering you up. I love seeing you with Greg. I love your relationship. I love how you work together. You're just so supportive. I love that.
Yeah, I'm lucky like that.
So it's so nice.
It is good.
So some people.
But we've been together 20 years.
Sorry?
Yeah. People don't realise that.
How did you meet?
Like,
Tell me the story.
Mine is not a good story like yours.
I want to hear it.
Oh my God, literally, the story is as simple as we were both at the same sixth form college.
Oh, wow.
And he says we was in the same form group, but I don't remember him at all. And I actually remember meeting him on the we're from Nottingham. He was there for college or whatever, and we got the same train on the park and ride. So you park your car at like this I don't know, this car park in the middle of bloody nowhere and get this tram to the college, and we met on there. So as far as I remember. And I remember my friend Steph, she kind of walked up to him and introduced us, and then she shut up and didn't say anything else, and I had to talk to him. And that was it. Like literally 20 years later. It's 20 years next year. It's 20 years next year, yeah. Which is mad. And he's been through it with me with this business and stuff. And like, you know,
that is amazing.
But it's amazing how things change. Like when you say you have got that support and you grow together and like I feel like
so beautiful.
Very lucky that we both have grown in the same direction. I mean, does he work for me now? Yes, he kind of does. So, which is really interesting, and that could be a podcast episode for another day. But yeah, I think I totally get what you're saying, but I think for me personally, I have got that. I am so entrenched in my business that I do forget to look outside a little bit more, and I'm thinking, thank God for Greg, because he will literally be like, no, Sam, you need to relax. You need to not do this today. And like, do you really need to do that? And he'll try and safeguard me a little bit like that, because
which is so important to have that, no? Because if you were on your own, you would just like
I would be the craziest cat lady right now, because like I have no time for like I know I wouldn't, and I'm just grateful that I have that network already.
And what's the beautiful thing about 20 years? Like what makes it work 20 years? Because I would love in 20 years to be like, we've been together. I think it's such a
true.
It
is. I didn't think about it.
What makes it last? Like, what is the key? What is the secret ingredient?
The key, I honestly think that a lot of the time it's about being accepting of the other person and supportive.
Yeah.
And I think just having a laugh and realising that, you know,
being friends,
keeping what's important at the front of it. Like for me, that is like one of the most important things, like that relationship. But everything else is built with it. Like, that's still my focus.
Yeah.
And like, it's a real driving point for me. I actually Greg, before helping me run Stay Studios and things like that, he was a race engineer for F1 for like 10 years. So he was away like 200 days a year.
Oh, wow.
And I was sick and tired of it. Like, honestly, I was just like, just me and the dog at home, like night after night. But yes, that gave me time to grow and scale the businesses. But one of the main driving reasons for me getting the businesses to the point where they are was so I could say to him, don't do this anymore. Like, we've got another option now. Like, I know you love your job and you're amazing at it and it's been a great experience, but here's another option that means, you know, you can be at home a bit more. We can build a life.
You can build something together,
exactly.
Which is so beautiful.
Yeah, and that's, I think, kind of the key, is just to keep communicating and build it together. And like, that's what's so nice. And that's why I love seeing you now living your best American life when you're across the pond.
I'm loving it.
It's so incredible.
I've just moved now to San Francisco and I'm loving it. It's new. And just cooking for him.
Yeah.
Home and cooking for him.
Oh my God, I love this.
I have to say that the first few months, I had like the guilt of, I don't know if you've ever taken a month off or more than a month off, and just feel like, what am I doing?
Lost. You feel a bit lost.
You feel lost and you feel like, what am I doing towards my goal actually?
Yeah. And am I letting people down? Should I be doing more?
Yes.
Like, the voice is constant.
Yes.
Like,
it's absolutely constant. And recently I was like telling my friends, actually, you know what? I closed my salon. I went to the US, I got married, and I came back and I'm still doing things. I actually maybe want to take the first 3 months of 2025 off and do nothing, but I feel bad about it. And my friend is like, no, Mimi, you shouldn't feel
for 10
bad
years.
about it.
Like, you know, people take hiatuses, people take a break, people take vacations. Like, that's what I've been told anyway.
Yeah.
But
we're not used to it when you
take time out.
When you are ambitious. You just feel like you're running after this goal of
constantly,
yours, right? Constantly.
And then I think when we do, as you know, as female founders and things, when you do take that time out, amazing things happen.
Yes.
Like, you get refreshed, you get energized, you get new ideas. Like, it's like when I took a little bit of time out to go visit a friend in Texas. That's when I sort of came up with the idea for doing like Stay Studios and like the podcast, and like it's only when I step out of the business for like a couple of weeks at least to really get out of that headspace that you make room for new things. And that's like what you said at the beginning about, you know, it's the founder's job to work on the vision. and things. And you can't do that when you're bogged down in the operations day to day. And that's why I love what you're doing. And I just think I'm so envious that like how brave you are in just saying, you know what, this isn't working for me, because you know what, not a lot of people would do that. They'd like grind away and resent it.
I was just like, it's either I keep the salon and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, or I take a leap of faith again and I do something else. And because I've done that 10 years ago by leaving Geneva and coming to London and starting over and seeing what I've been able to do, I'm just like, I can do this again. So I've started this thing on Instagram where I call it starting over at 38.
So an empowering women
breaking the taboo of at 38 you can't start over. You can start over at any age, and your life actually, Sam, can change within a year. Everything can just be much more improved from where you are and from what you want. You can just in a year just
change it,
bloom and explode and just do whatever you want to do. So I'm just really embracing women towards that, and I think it's important to also embrace them towards you can be ambitious and also want to find love. And there is still time to find love, because I don't know if you've noticed, there is a lot of women that just feel like their case is lost. I'm late. I
hear it with clients.
The pressure. I'm 30 something, and I'm like, no, you can actually.
You've got time. Like there's always time.
Yeah,
we're always young, and I think that's a message that really gets forgotten.
Yeah,
and especially with the hustle culture.
Yes,
that women have got, like, you know, we almost have more to prove in a way.
Yeah,
and so you end up doing more and more and more, and then forgetting about these sort of things
which are so important.
Yeah,
they are so important. So I encourage us to try and have it all. Like, you can have love and flourish in love, and you can also achieve your goals. And is it not more beautiful to have it all?
Yeah, exactly. You can have it all. I completely agree, and I think that's anyone listening. I just really hope that does inspire them, because you really can. Hard work and dedication, but you know,
but they sometimes also don't come at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I heard a saying that says you can have everything, but just not all at once.
Yeah,
and that's, I think, really important to
know and keep in mind.
Yeah, and that comparison culture and things like that. And this is why I love that you're so open on your Instagram about talking about like these things, because you know, so many people won't share this sort of thing, and they they want to demonstrate that they're doing everything, and it's not.
I think it's important to show that there is strength in, you know, it's taken me a long time to realize that there is strength in vulnerability. Like being able to be open and just share how you feel is actually a strength, and there is power in it. And I think it's important that we chase our dream, but realize that it's also okay to be vulnerable.
Oh my God, I literally love that. I could literally talk to you all day, but I won't keep you all day. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'm so excited it's honestly a pleasure. I'm just so excited to see where this chapter for you goes, and like obviously everything you're doing with your hair oil, and it's just amazing.
I'm launching the new range next year, so I'm very excited about it. It will be science-based.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Let's add some science into it, and then I cannot wait to see your podcast flourish. This is a beautiful setup. Thank you so much for having me.
While I have you, it would really help me out if you could just hit follow or subscribe, depending on which platform you're getting your podcast from, and I can keep bringing you these amazing conversations with these incredible guests. And I will see you next week on the Silly Little Girls Club.